Well, here we are again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the American Dreamer Show, 8th edition. And we probably going to go back to our regular format, play a little, dance a little, talk a lot, and sing some more. And
you know they can't see dancing on the podcast, right?
Hopefully they're going to be hearing singing. So we're going to just review into John. It was a fun one last time. We had we did a little improv. You know, we went the improv route.
Is this like a this is what you missed last week kind of thing?
Well, if they did, they can catch up on it. We make it easy. James at the controls, and he's a control freak. So we went into some of the YouTube stuff that we're going to share later on with our listeners as we get along. And we did some pre-recording to get an idea of how things were going to look. And but then we went to the reverse universe. We did the upfront and personal song that with Elton John tribute. Wasn't that
right?
It was good.
You know, there's an Elton John movie coming out this summer.
Well, we can do a couple of inserts for that, too.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm going to be on America's Got Talent, so maybe we can interface with that.
You're going to be on America's Got Talent.
Well, they have so many
You're going to the audition.
You're going to the audition, and it's prelims for the first 2 or 3 times. But, you know, like, stop the presses. I'm in this up to my eyeballs. And I'm in the process of preparing for the America's Got Talent. And just so happens my social media guru, Dan Rooney, unbeknownst to me, a little over a month ago, decided to throw my name to the wolves. And I'm in there. And we're putting together my shtick, and hopefully it'll fly. But I guess we shouldn't take too long to find out, because Monday, December 10th.
Should they tell you right off the bat if you're...
Yeah, you got 90 seconds.
That's not Simon Cowell. That's a different show.
No, it is.
It's Simon Cowell, right?
Yes.
America's Got Talent. So Simon Cowell's there, and he just says, "That was awful. Get out."
Well, you don't even get that far. If, no guts, no gory. And so I'll probably leave with my guts on the floor.
Well, it all depends what they're looking for.
Well, what I'm doing is a song selection of, I've been playing some John Denver.
Now, are you going to play a song?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. But
now or later?
Yeah, I know. You're rushing me.
No, I'm just wondering, because you're holding the guitar like you're getting ready to play. And
I am, but I just wanted to give our listeners a little bit of a background that, get the juices flowing, and maybe the judges glowing if this is what Simon Cowell, the judge and creator of America's Got Talent, had the following advice for the acts auditioning. He said, be original.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be boring.
Don't be boring.
Stand out from the crowd, and be fearless.
Fearless. That's you, Bill. Fearless.
So basically, that's why we're going to be doing 2 John Denver selections. I don't normally take one artist and do 2 of the songs, but this is what I'm gearing up for. I'm going to be doing a medley of John Denver.
Oh.
And you got 90 seconds to wow them, and that's what I'm going to try to do. So we'll find out soon enough. But this selection is one of my feel-good ones about sweet surrender and what you're doing here on life in making it worthwhile. So that was John Denver's forte. He made things happen, and the words speak for itself. So
he lived and died fearless.
Oh, God. We lost him too soon, but he created, I have at least 9 albums, like I said, song books, and lived a lifetime in whatever time God gave him on this earth. So we're very thankful, grateful. Okay, well, here we go. Sweet Surrender. Lost and alone on some forgotten highway, Traveled by many, remembered by few, looking for something that I can believe in, looking for something that I'd like to do with my life. There's nothing behind me and nothing that ties me to something that might have been true yesterday. Tomorrow is open, and right now it seems to be more than enough to just be here today. Don't know where I'm going, what the future in store. Don't know what I'm doing, I'm not that sure. There's a spirit that guides me, a light that shines for me. My life's worth living, I don't need to see the end. Sweet, sweet surrender. Lie, live without care, like a fish in the water, like a bird in the air. Lost and alone on some forgotten highway, traveled by many, remembered by few, looking for something that I can believe in, looking for something that I'd like to do with my life. There's nothing behind me, nothing that ties me to something that might have been true yesterday. Tomorrow is open, and right now it seems to be more than enough to just be here today. Sweet, sweet surrender. Live without care, like a fish in the water, like a bird in the air. Sweet, sweet surrender. Live without care, like a fish in the water, like a bird in the air. Like a bird in the air. Well, I got 4 days to keep practicing.
Practicing, man. Do you know John Denver's real name?
John Dusseldorf.
Henry John Dusendorf.
Oh, yes.
It's like Deutschendorf.
Well,
Deutschendorf Jr.
Junior.
Yeah.
He also had a very cantankerous relationship with his father. His father was in the Air Force.
I don't blame him for naming him that.
Well, they traveled all over. It was amazing.
He was born in New Mexico.
Roswell. That's why I think he's, what Roswell's about.
Yeah.
That's where they found the alien remains. Believe me, the way he put the mastery of songs and music and messages together, I wouldn't be surprised
If he was an alien?
transplanted some.
You think he's an alien? Maybe he's going to come back as an alien?
Maybe I'm reincarnated.
Oh, God. No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Thank you, John.
That would mean you'd have been born in after 97. He died in 97.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I started taking over. All right. Anyway, so that was the first musical selection and the first discussion of It Worked for Me.
Oh.
We're going to do that. We're going to, as I said, reverse universe. We're going to.
I'm not totally on board yet with It Worked for Me. It worked for you.
Well, this is my new book, and as I've been writing excerpts on what I think is of interest, and also the storyline. I've had a very interesting life with family, loved ones, and friends. And Buzzer Bob, you've met Buzzer Bob.
Yeah.
We're going to get him involved in this odyssey. But John, I was wondering, do you remember anything from last week about? Evidently, you just wondering.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
All right. Well, you remember about the American flag on my car and my hot and cold 5-gallon
Right.
water dispenser, my breakfast menu that worked, and yogurt. That's the one you really had trouble with. Fruit at the bottom, but an apple a day. Okay, so, well, I got a few more items of interest. And we're going from the kitchen into the bathroom.
Oh, boy.
Now, I'm sure a lot of us have a regular routine when we shower. For me, there's usually a bar soap and some of the body shower gel, like soft soap or Axe Men or Dial, And before showering, I like to brush my teeth.
Before showering?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it sort of gives me a refreshing feeling when I get into the shower. And then after I finish showering, I have a set of practices. After toweling off, I place the towel face up on the side that is drying.
Bill, this should be called
upfront and
Bill's OCD.
Well, TMI. But anyway, so then the fun begins.
Oh, God.
I use body talc, sometimes a generic brand, and sometimes, all over and some places. And then Johnson & Johnson, and they usually it contains aloe and vitamin E, and also like the men's, I also like the Avon talc products, which are good. And the next item that follows religiously is I take my T-shirt, the undergarment I wore, from before, and I place it on the floor, and I proceed to dry between my toes.
No.
How exciting is that, huh?
Dry between, after you're done.
After I take the shower.
Why do you use your T-shirt for that?
Well, because it's something that works over the years, and I haven't had athlete's feet or any rashes or anything.
So you're taking your, dirty shirt.
Not dirty, it's just...
You wore it already.
Yeah, but you're cleaning between your toes. How cleaning your toes, right?
So now you have your sweat and stuff from your shirt.
No, it's just quickly. It takes 1, 2, 3. And, this is for men, because the men's T-shirt. But, a precautionary note that this might be akin to males, because females' undergarments, they might have a snap or a clasp, and that would be difficult when trying to dry between their toes. So, but I'll leave that up to discretion of the individual.
Wow.
And the last thing that you want to know about...
I don't know if I want to know.
That's why I said it's the last thing, is that is a process to take Q-tips for swabbing the ears.
Oh, that's pretty normal.
Well, and it does, but some people think that they use the Q-tips and they stick in the ear. It's very dangerous, and they don't want to subject themselves to that possibly puncturing. Right. But I've been doing this for over 20, 25 years, and I use 2 Q-tips, one for each ear, and I switch it around and get inside. But then there's one I sort of, for both ears, around the outside of the parts of the earlobe. And as I said, it really helps. I have very little problems earaches or rashes or athlete's feet. And I'm sure that if I had some pictures to present,
Oh, please no.
not right now, but you maybe later, that you'll get a better idea.
I've got a visual that I never want to think of again.
Well, it's not X-rated.
Well, not X-rated, but just you doing your toes with a dirty shirt. I'm just.
It's not dirty.
I'm not on board with this. I'm sorry.
Well, use your own clean
I don't
T-shirts.
I don't think I'm going to read your book when it comes out.
You will, because I'm going to sign it and give it to you. Okay.
Sorry, but that's just how I feel.
We'll work on that. All right. So, you remember last week I was trying to find my cell phone, and
You're always losing things.
well, that's
Going to go in the what doesn't work for me. But
I know all the good places now. I've lost everything everywhere. So, this is part of the soundscape I mentioned on. When you have cable TV, they have a whole set of musical.
You going to play
venues.
something off your cell phone?
Well, yeah, because what happens is it has.
Then you're doing this without letting our engineer know in advance?
Well, I'm going to put it right up here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read.
Got to be a better way.
There's certainly always got to be a better way. But what it is, while you listen to this new age music, it's very soothing. They have the very nice quotes and presentation of things to get you going. So this is what I'm going to start with. And the music is just really nice. So, aging is not a lost art, but a new stage of opportunity and strength. That's interesting. And the music is in the background because I taped this off of my cell phone. And here's one from Michelangelo. I saw an angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. And here's Abraham Lincoln. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? Here's another one. Each day comes bearing its own gifts. Untie the ribbon. Ruth Ann Schachbacher. You know, there's music on this, but you really can't hear it. But here's one. There's no, though no one can go back and make a brand new start, anyone can start from now and make a brand new ending. Carl Bard. And I wish you can hear it, but that's not the important thing. So these are on Soundscape, on your cable television music venue.
This is what you see on the screen.
Yes, while the
Okay.
music is
Yeah,
playing.
I'm confused, and I'm sure the audience is
Yeah,
confused. So what Bill is saying is that when you have cable and you go to the music channels,
Yes, on Spectrum it's 442.
well, that's not important. But only if you live here in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you go to the channel, you see these proverbs.
There's
or
a beautiful
these
pictures in the background, and
this music.
let me just say, just for a second.
We'll put it in front of the mic. There we go. You know, there's like a cable you can hook up to the phone so that you can hear what comes out of the phone.
Well, this is going to be difficult for listeners.
Music to clean your toes by.
I don't have any music when I'm cleaning my toes, John. It's all by my
I think we should move on.
rote. I know what I'm doing without music.
I think we should move on.
All right, we're moving
Okay.
on. So, well, guess what? We're at the second musical selection.
Oh, good. More John Denver. John Henry Deutschendorf.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think he should have kept that name.
I don't think so.
No?
I think he did beautifully with what he did.
Was he an actor too?
Oh yeah, he did. He had television shows. You remember?
Yeah.
He did God, Oh God. With
yes,
George.
that's right. He was like which was kind of like Scrooge, kind of in a way.
Well,
it was
kind
like
of.
what would happen if he wasn't around, kind of thing.
George Burns.
Yeah.
And then he had a television show. You remember the Muppets?
Oh, he was on the Muppets.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah.
Well, this selection, Round and Round.
Oh, by Rat.
No.
Round and round. Sorry.
All right. So, I have that newsletter that goes with Joe's Lifelong Legacy, and it's also tied in with It Worked for Me. And when I first came out with the initial announcement of my third book, I had a big banner, A New Beginning, and that was in May of this last year. And I put a little bit together about some of my quirks, idiosyncrasies, and one of the things we know is that I'm time challenged. A lot of people don't laugh when I'm time challenged, but it's good.
We were supposed to start the podcast at 10:30 tonight.
No, it wasn't tonight. Yeah, well, we're early then. Yeah. Okay, because it's now 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But the thing is, people know about my problem. I'm working on it. I'm not going to therapy yet, but I'm still working on it.
Another selection for It Doesn't Work for Me.
Yes. Well, right. The only time that I was early was I was a preemie. When I was born, 6 weeks early.
Oh, boy. You started off just...
And then I slowed down and died out completely.
Right.
And so, like, my hair guy, he says, Bill, the only time you're going to be on time, the only time you're going to be on time is at your funeral. So, and so it got me thinking. Now, this song is a John Denver song. It was the song of the month in that edition of newsletter, May. And because there's one thing says, he's having so much fun. I want to be around so I can be there when I die and when I'm gone. Right. So I said, yeah, that I can live up to that, So that's one of the phrase, the messages, just want to be nice. Have a good appreciation while we're here. Enjoy sunrises and sunsets.
Right.
And people.
You never want to die having any regrets. You
Yes.
never want to say, I should have did this, I should have did that.
And you know what? And not to say somebody that you care about, that you love them.
Yeah.
So this is important. So go out and tell somebody you love them. Hopefully you know them and, keep smiling. And,
or a stranger. It could be a stranger.
Well, if you say hello, hey, have a great day, and they don't know you.
Hey, baby, how you doing? I love you.
Uh-oh, that's trouble.
Not that. Huh?
So here we are. I hope I do a better job on this one than the other one. But we have an expression. If you don't swing, you don't hit. That was Yogi Berra. No. Okay, so this is... You can tell from the sound, this is the 12-string. And Around and Around by John Denver. Time as I've known it doesn't take much time to pass by me. Minutes into days turn into years, turn into months, then hurry by me. Still I love to see the sun go down and the world turn around. Dreams full of promises, hopes for the future, I've had many. Dreams I can remember now, hopes that I've forgotten, faded memories. Still I love to see the sun go down and the world turn around. Now I love to see the morning as it steals across the sky. I love to remember and I love to wonder why. I hope that I'm around so I can be there when I die, when I'm gone. I hope that you will think of me in moments when you're happy and you're smiling. That the thought will comfort you on cold and cloudy days if you are crying. And that you love to see the sun go down and the world turn around and around and around. We haven't. Now I love to see the morning as it steals across the sky. I love to remember and I love to wonder why. I hope that I'm around so I can be there when I die and when I'm gone. I hope that you will think of me in moments when you're happy and you're smiling. That the thought will comfort you on cold and cloudy days if you are crying. And that you love to see the sun go down and the world turn around and around and around. I think that the 12 string's a little too heavy for that.
Now, isn't the name of that song
Around and Around?
Around and Around? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir James. Okay. Well, we can wrap up this third part. Let me get some of my magic potion here. We got about 15 minutes. We've been on early today.
We are?
I think. We'll see what happens. It's no etched in stone thing. So, I think the next item of interest is going to be The American Dreamer. A look into the life of my father, Joe Baby. And so my dad carried with him so many wonderful qualities that he shared with us that I'm able to share with you. And he was very sincerely interested in the people that were around him, certainly his family that he showed day in and day out. But he knew the importance of having lifelong friends. And during this period in his life as he was growing up, in his teens and 20s, he realized how important to keep an inner circle of friends could rely on and trust. And these would be enduring friends that followed him through most of his life. He had one such friend, on page 24 is the letter that his friend Martin Sobel wrote, a letter of recommendation for him. Now, Mr. Sobel unquestionably stands by his endorsement of, he says, my character for over 16 years. Considering I was only 24 at the time, it meant that I must have had something going for me even when I was only 8 years old. And, and so it was good to carry the letter around of commendation, but he hoped that the personnel person reviewing his credentials didn't check the math, because it says my friend,
So it was embellished.
Yeah. Well, he knew him for 16 years, but at 8 years old, He recommended Joe Sefakar as a loyal, trustworthy, and reliable person. He has always displayed evidence of high moral character, and his actions never indicated him to be otherwise than a conscientious and honest person and an individual of firm character.
Even at 8 years old.
Well, he said he knew him for 16 years, so he's endured. But, when this letter was written, he was 24.
Right.
But this is what Dad liked to do, and I don't want to keep emphasizing, but he wrote and wrote and wrote, which even in this time and era was a rare quality. He had letters to, government officials on issues, Social Security later on in his life, and taxes and everything.
So he was one of those people that if he thought things weren't right, he would write the congressman kind of thing, right?
Yes, and it's there, letters and people that he wrote to. But he wrote to people that meant a lot to him in his lives, whether it's family or people and friends. Now, if you go to page 22, there's a picture of him with his good friend Ben Elswife, 1938. And he followed these people all through his life, John, and he tried to keep track of it. Now, if you go to page 286, and this is the kind of thing that you don't find this quality too often.
They look kind of like mobsters.
Well, Dad had a pipe, and they had that formal.
They had that look, yeah.
Well, in the 30s and so forth. So that picture I put in again, and when he found out about Ben Elswife passing, he took time and he wrote a letter to Ben's wife, and that appears April 21st, 1985. He says, "Dear Esther, I'm writing to convey my and Thelma, wife's condolences on this sad occasion. Words are so cold, and no matter how one tries to reach out with a warm touch, the words are still stark. The only way maybe to add a human touch is to remember how our friendship started. It was 58 years ago, 1927. Human nature being what it is, it seems like yesterday. I went through school together, but our paths parted when I continued in the normal school progression, and Ben was advanced to junior high because of his special abilities. In mathematics, he was a little better than I was. We still remained close socially until 1941, when the war separated us. I went to the Army and Ben to the Navy, and then after the war, the veterans' housing in Manhattan Beach, and thereafter to Bayside. I went to veteran housings in Williamsburg, in the middle income housing in Astoria, and then to Syosset. But he talks about the correspondence and keeping track. He never let these ties that bind would go. But here is amazing, this story that my dad, in writing a letter to Ben's wife. Without racking my brains too much, I think the following story may express the invisible bond between us that followed us through the years. When we lived in Maryland around 1969, we were visiting our neighbors in our building, visiting them with their in-laws, Greta and Aaron from Bayside. No one was aware that we had a mutual friend. It was not unusual for people in a group to discover that they have mutual friends. You talk, geography, My neighbor, when we'd known for several years, said, "Joe, tell an expression just like him." He said, a story. So in New York, my dad was talking, and we had known these people, and he said, "Joe, you tell an expression just like him." Someone asked who that person was, and Vic DeBax, who was my neighbor, he said, "Ben Elswife." This is my dad's friend.
Right.
It has been many years since I had seen Ben, and to think that his mannerisms were sufficiently strong for me to have absorbed them and displayed them 42 years later, echoed. It seemed unexplainably. As I remember, I think we corresponded every 5 years until, before we knew it, it was 1984, and we all met again in Clearwood. I was happy for that meeting. It put things in perspective. A lifetime has gone by. But human nature, being what it is, we cannot admit it is our lifetime. To you go our heartfelt prayers for strength and to sustain you during this trying period. All our love.
So that was in 1985.
But he wrote. Did he ever write? He wrote to Hillary Clinton when she was senator, when she was first lady for health care, and he sent his ideas, a proposal for that. And then 20 years, from 1994 when she was first lady to 2008 when she was senator, he sent her the same. He had that letter that he showed her that he sent about what his ideas were about healthcare, and it's in the book. I'll have to research. But having the letter, he still had the letter that he sent to Hillary Clinton as first lady.
Hillary, in case you don't remember, this is I sent you this, and
yes, he wrote about it. I will undercover, but that's the kind of detail and remembrances. All right, so this puts me right into the right frame of mind, because if you go to page 440, John, we all are bereaved by the passing of a beloved president, George W. Bush, and he did amazing things for this country and his family. And, you appreciate him after, unfortunately, but we did appreciate him. The Berlin Wall and breaking down of the communist bloc. So we're very lucky that men like that have served this country well. So the ties that bind. So when my folks had their 50th anniversary, my dad thought it was fitting. He sent a letter to President Bush and alerting them that he and Thelma were having their 50th anniversary, January 3rd, 1992, from 1942. And they received a letter from the White House. Congratulations from President George Bush and Barbara Bush. And he had to show Mom, and it says, our congratulations to you on your wedding anniversary. It's a nice presidential seal and
look at that.
banner. And the love and caring you have shared throughout your years together have enriched the lives of your family and friends. Best wishes for many more anniversaries to come. Very sweet.
And they did.
Oh, yes.
They had many
and
more.
when we're going to get to when their anniversary on January 3rd, Michelle, James, I hope you're ready for this. I don't want you to fall asleep. So I was able to get the same hotel that they had their honeymoon for when they left New York in bitter winter for Miami Beach. And I worked that out, and it had to do with, it was, Deco, South Beach. They were redoing it at that time in 1982, and they gave them very special dispensation, and to celebrate their 50th. And you can see the stuff, John. If you turn the page before, you see the Art Deco district, and they still have all the stuff, the train fare from 1942.
Is the hotel still there to this day?
I don't know if it's still there, but this is the Essex Hotel, 10,001 Collins Avenue, Miami Beach.
Sounds familiar.
All right. So, as I said, he did things that were out of the ordinary. and he was extraordinary. So, with that in mind, I hope you all exhibit some extraordinary talent, phenomenal gifts that we've been endowed with, and you have a chance to do these kind of things. It's a little extra effort. I'm trying to do a little extra effort. I don't know how that's going to turn out.
By the way, the Essex Hotel is still you actually book a room there for $116. That's a pretty good deal.
This was $67. This was $6.70.
Well, it's gone up quite a bit, but $116 for a hotel in South Beach.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Yeah, that's really good, especially in December.
Very true.
Yeah.
We have in the book the Hotel Pennsylvania, New York, and that was $6.72. They have the hotel bill for their honeymoon on January 3rd, 1942. It's there. You can check it out. That's why you need to have a copy of the book so you can follow
You
along.
do need to have a copy of the book.
All right.
James, do you have a copy of the book? He's nodding.
Yes. And so please, if you have any questions and you want me to check on something, and John, we'll be more than happy to follow up on it. But you got to follow your dreams. I'm trying. Little did I know that a month ago I'd be putting myself in the chopping block to go to America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a fun one. I'll share that with you.
By the way, one thing I wanted to say to you and to the audience that make sure to follow you on Spreaker.
Okay.
We need some followers. Okay. You don't just listen. It's great that you listen, but we want you to follow so you come back.
Okay, and
so
I'll make
hit
it
that
worthwhile.
follow button on Spreaker.
All right. Well, thank you, John. I'll leave you with a couple of Dreamers song words. Actually, the song this is Bruce Springsteen. It wasn't a song, but he says, "To say I'll make your dreams come true would be wrong, but maybe, darling, I could help them along." That was Bruce. And there are only three things that can make your dreams come true: your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And I'm sure everybody has that little something that they fall back on. I have a lot of faith in like a spirit, like the song "Sweet Surrender." There's a spirit that shines on me and follows me. It keeps me straight and narrow. I'm so blessed, and I'm trying to bring that out in the open so people can say, "Yeah, that sounds like something I, am endowed with and feel good about." But that's the thing to do, is feel good and show it and share it. So follow your dreams wherever they may lead you. Hopefully your dreams come into reality. And, if you have to do a little tweaking, that's part of it. But, twist and shout and turn yourself out, in and out. Well, come on, John. Can you come up with something that would...
Well, you're seeing the look on my face like, what?
Twist and shout and make it come about. How's
wow,
that?
You're a poet.
And I don't know it. But anyway, please have a wonderful week. Get ready for all the holiday cheer. And we'll catch you next week, God willing. It's Bill Sefakar signing off. Your friend.